Mr. Voigt, are we,
Okay. So I will call together the August 2023 Caroline Broadband Advisory Committee meeting. It was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. It's 7:05. We apologize for that. YouTube aired out on us, and we've now got that corrected. Everybody was emailed out the agenda earlier today. Hopefully everybody got a chance to take a look at it. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll move forward. The meetings or the minutes from the last meeting are available on YouTube. As we talked about earlier, I just like to be sure to bring that up, that, you know, if somebody wants to listen to or get a transcript of the last meeting, they can go to YouTube and get that information. Just search for the July meeting. We'll go straight into old business at this point. So David, you want to give us an update on railroad crossings?
all right. The update on railroad crossings is that there's no update on railroad crossings. The paperwork has been released by our attorney, is in the hands of CSX attorneys at this point, according to Mr. Schiebel. So we're just waiting on those to finalize the encroachment agreements. I will say I did make Mr. Schiebel aware, but we are starting to have requests from the contractors. That is, they're in the process of trying to plan out and do the design and engineering in the areas of those railroad crossings now. So they're starting to get a bit nervous, but as of now, we have no further updates.
Do we, well, let me rephrase how I word this. Is there any place that we need to go to, get more, quicker response or anything? I know we've done everything on our part, but is there anything that we can do on the, railroad side? Do we have a contact that we can, drive something forward?
Mr. Thomas can probably confirm this, but the way I understand it, the answer would be no. The railroads kind of work at their own speed, which is why Virginia passed a law that required them to issue permits in a certain amount of time, which they've challenged in court. And it's my understanding that the court may have issued a stay on any permits until that's resolved. That does not affect ours, because ours has been in now well before all that litigation started, and we're not asking for an expedited permit. So now we just wait.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly the Board of Supervisors' understanding. But because we asked for legislation to speed them up, they've now, got a case in which slows them down. But I thought we were at the end of the queue and should have been close to released. So we will try to follow up on our end again.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I don't want to get to the point where we're laying fiber and at some point in the future, and the railroad crossings are still holding us up.
Yeah, I think that is a concern because, even though we believe that we're close to getting a permit, if we knew for sure that we were getting a permit, we could even, let the contractors know that the permits are in hand or will be, and then they could, if they had to, they could construct up to those points. But I think at this point, that might be premature until we actually have some permits in hand.
David, do you have any idea of like a go, no go date that we kind of need to mark down and kind of keep an eye on to make sure that we're, I know right now we say we might be close to the end of the queue, but do we have any idea when we might need to at some point try and put some pressure or follow up or expedite or anything like that? Is that later next year or?
I think if we were looking for a date, it would have been about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when the RFPs went out for the final design and engineering in those areas around the railroad tracks, railroad crossings.
Okay.
So right now, when I did speak with the project manager, who was our project manager over 21 and 23, he said that the interested parties interested in responding to the RFPs were all inquiring about the status of those permits.
Okay.
So I think we are starting to fall behind what we had projected. It's just a really good thing that we went forward with this last year and started.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have been like we had anticipated, or like we were concerned that if we waited to this year to start until we heard the results of VATI, we would have just now started and probably been 12 to 18 months off. I will say that from the very beginning, Mr. Newborg with Breezeline estimated 18 months, and it's going to be real close to that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, David. Sorry to put you on the spot with some of those questions. Anybody else have any more questions? All right, I guess it comes up to my part of the show with Starlink. To give a Starlink update, I don't think I have anything really to share out, David, because if people want to, they can actually go out there and look on the Starlink website and see everything out there as far as maps and so forth, so on. But if anybody goes out there and looks at it, you will see that darker shaded area, which is the 2023 waiting list, is starting to shrink as far as Starlink is launching enough satellites to start permeating that. I know about 3 months ago, it was like solid dark blue. And now if you go look at it, there's a lot of light blue in popping up inside of there, which means Starlink is readily available where you can go out there and just place a residential order on the website. That being said, since our last meeting in July, I have gotten telephone calls from several people in Caroline County that have been on the waiting list for some time that got the email saying that Starlink is available in their area and they could place the order. Again, as this committee has stated several times before, Starlink is a good stopgap for the lack of broadband inside of Caroline County right now. It will not be the end all be all for broadband. That will be the project that we're currently working on. Oh, thanks for bringing it up, David. It's not going to be the end all be all, but it is a good stopgap. I work on it on a regular basis, watch TV off of it on a regular basis. So if it becomes available, just keep in mind that this will, look to use this to keep you through until we can get broadband out to the entire county as our VATI 2023 project gets underway and those timelines are laid out. I've got some fun facts, and I'm quoting this from Jay Christina's videos. He likes to do a lot of fun facts. I found this very, very interesting in the last one that I watched. So far, Starlink has launched 10 launches of their V2 mini satellites. What that means is their V2 main satellites are too big to fit within inside of their regular rockets that go up, the Falcon rockets. So they're waiting for Starship to put the real big V2s up there, but they've designed now a V2 mini, which has more capacity and more throughput on that satellite. So they've done 10 launches of that, and there's anywhere from 19 to 25 of those satellites on a rocket ship that goes up, or a rocket that launches it up. Starlink, or let me rephrase that, SpaceX broke its own record a couple weeks ago. It was 72 hours in between launches. They got it down to 48 hours between launches. So that's launching up, like I said, anywhere from, let's say, 19 to 25 satellites every 48 hours. Now they're not doing that continuously, but they are throwing up a lot of new satellites, which brings forth to the next little bit, which is currently they have 4,903 satellites in low Earth orbit that are Starlink. That's a very substantial amount of satellites. It's not close to what his max is, or what Starlink has said the max is, which I believe is 12,000 satellites, if I remember correctly. But that is close to 5,000 satellites. Now, this is as of like the middle of June, or I think it was the middle of June, the beginning of July that this video came out. Right now, they have 4,562 satellites that are operational. That means that there's right around 350 some odd satellites that are in low Earth orbit that are waiting to be deployed once they pass the testing phase and so forth, so on with Starlink headquarters. So then that'll put more into low Earth orbit operational. And as of May 2023, they have 1.5 million customers in over 60 countries. So they definitely have the customer base, and they are starting to cover the globe at this point. We just have to work on getting this one little piece of the United States covered with the light blue, which makes it readily available to where anybody can order it whenever they want to. I know they've got a bunch more satellite scheduled to be launched later this month, so stay tuned for those. But I figured this was a interesting, fun facts about what's going on with Starlink at this point. Anybody have any questions? All right, it's going to be a quick meeting tonight. David, we'll go back to you on the VATI 2021 updates.
Yeah, so I will say, Jason, I know of a couple of people that I've been working with trying to get those satellites. If they're on the wait list, they're actually starting to ship, I think, more on schedule. So if they are on the wait list, or you are on a wait list, you may want to keep an eye out for that notification that your dish is getting ready to ship, because they, even though they're way behind on the wait list, what was originally expected, they are starting to ship some. So keep an eye out for that, and so you can make sure that you're able to get that on time if you're on the wait list. VATI 2021, since the last wrap up, we really haven't had a lot of change to it. Hopefully by next month, I'll be able to get you some numbers. The goal, the two things that we're looking for, is 6 months post closeout, which will be coming up, I believe, next month or the month after, and then 12-month post closeout. 12-month post closeout, all the reporting to the state's no longer required. So at that point, when we hit the 12-month mark, we can probably let VATI 2021 drop off the agenda.
That will be exciting. Anybody have any questions on 2021? All right. On to 2023.
And that's what I'm doing 99% of my time right now, is the VATI 2023. We are well into the contract negotiation phase of the 2023 project. Both partners are making good progress. And I shouldn't say partners. The attorneys keep reminding me that they're not partners. It's not a partnership that we formed, but Both ISPs that are responsible for both the East and West project are making good progress. Again, what we're in the process of doing is signing and filing and getting attorney approval of all the documents we have to upload to the state. Once we get all those uploaded, they will review them. If they accept them all, or once they accept them all, then we'll be presented with a contract actually signed between Caroline County DHCD for each of the two projects. So right now we're working through agreements, working through documents, reporting, budgets, a lot of paperwork going on right now. Hopefully within the next few weeks we'll have everything submitted and be looking at a contract with DHCD.
And David, this is typical of the last project that we won in terms of time frame. I think it took 30, 45 days then.
Yeah, it's the exact same timeline. We have 90 days from the date that we have that first meeting to get all the paperwork signed. The one thing that I can say, Mr. Thomas, is the difference is we were one of multiple counties. Was it 4 counties?
Yes, that's correct.
So basically what we're going through now times 2 is what Matthews had to go through before. We had a lot of those documents that we had to submit to Matthews, but then Matthews would submit them to the state. Now we're actually having to do it. So it's a little bit different for us than we went through last time, but at the same time, it's the same process, the same timelines. Again, we have a 90-day window, which ends on the 14th of September, I believe, to get everything in to the state. Generally, once they're in and accepted, I'm told it takes about 2 weeks for us to get the contract with DHCD, and then from there, the next thing we would wait on is a notice to proceed. Now, both partners already have the prior authorization approved with DHCD, so they can actually begin design and engineering, which Breezeline is rolling right along. They had the RFP closed out for the rest of the county. They're hoping to be able to get an RFP award to their subcontractor to start that design and final design and engineering for the county in time to keep them in the county working. So they're just finishing up the RDOF area, which is a large part of our project, but now they're getting ready to move on to design and engineering for the rest of the projects. A lot is going on just because, we don't have that contract yet. Breezeline is rolling to be ready to roll once they get that notice to proceed. The prior authorization allows them to do any paperwork, planning, design, engineering. They just cannot start any construction until the contract is signed. So they are doing everything that they can in the background so that when they do get to start, they'll be able to just start rolling right along.
And again, David mentions a couple of good points for that project. They probably designed a lot of what their first phase is already. So we might save that time in the overall project. There's a lot that I'm sure they've designed already. And we're not going to let the day go by without making sure we get all the paperwork in. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're extremely close on the Breezeline side, a little bit further behind on the Verizon side, just because it's a larger company that we're working with through these documents. But we're making great progress on both. I would say Breezeline, probably within the next 7 to 10 days, we'll be able to submit everything for that project. And it also has a lot to do with the fact that I guess Breezeline is actually more experienced because they went through all this with Matthews County, whereas this is the first round for Verizon's participation in VATI. So they're having to go, it's a learning curve involved for them. So both we're in real good shape on both of them. I'm not the least bit concerned that we will be able to make those deadlines. I would like to also say that we really need to get the word out to the citizens. I really do appreciate all of the broadband inquiries coming in. Those have increased. I'm doing an average of 4 or 5 per day now. They had dropped off to 4 or 5 a week. And it's really helpful to us because it allows me to take the specific address, just verify that it's in the plan, then I'm able to respond back to them with the latest accurate information. So if you guys are getting the word out, Mr. Thomas, if we can just keep getting that word out, the more of those broadband inquiries, it's a good opportunity for us to make direct contact with citizens to let them know accurate information. What we want to do is we really would love for this committee or this committee or these meetings that we're streaming to be the official word that's getting out, because unfortunately a lot of the information that people are getting from social media is not correct. So we want to make sure that we're not misleading anybody and we're giving them accurate information. So keep up the good work, keep the inquiries coming in, and I will keep responding to them, and we'll just keep making progress.
Okay, and Jason, maybe we could look at the broadband committee coming to the Board of Supervisors meeting just to give an update, maybe at the end of September.
We could do that.
All right.
What date is that?
That's Tuesday, the 26th of September.
Okay, I'll be in town. Okay, I'll put it to my I'll put it on my calendar.
And that does give us 5 weeks or so to make sure we get all the contracts, and that's something the board has basically sped up by giving the county administrator the authorization to sign those. So we can move it as fast as possible, but I just want to make sure you get a chance or another opportunity for people to see you and hear what the broadband committee is doing and follow David's suggestion.
Yep, I mean, we really need to keep the word out there as much as we can. One thing that we've seen is that in BATI 2021, initially right off the bat, and even to this date, our take rate is higher than what would normally be expected, and that's a good thing. The county investment in dollars to bring that 21 project in is being utilized, higher than average. So that's the same thing that we want to keep going in 21. We want to keep people's interest up. We don't want them to get frustrated or give up. Internet is coming, and it's coming much faster than most people would realize once the project gets started. And I know for a fact in dealing with and talking with these citizens every day, it seems like it's been forever. I've been working 5 years to get us to this point, so it's going to go much quicker than it has. So just the main thing is keep your interest up and just be patient as we work through these last steps and we actually get moving towards construction.
Yeah, we don't want to raise our hand and say how long we've been working hard to make this happen, do we?
Well, it's been, and I'm, unfortunately, Mr. Thomas, I do put that in some of my emails in my response saying, hey, I know you're excited, but you're probably not as excited as I am because it's been a long, hard road.
Exactly. I think Bill Newborg might have been a regional or maybe a district manager when we first started talking about broadband. And now I think he's the CEO or something close to it.
He's well up in the company, so he covers multiple states now. So
yeah,
and it's been a long road, and we've had the support of the Board of Supervisors all along, and that's the only way that we're able to get this. As you'll see in the next item on the agenda, it's a large project, which we'll discuss a little bit more in our plan for universal coverage once we get to that point. All right, Jason.
Anything else? Any other conversation? It's good conversation. All right. Hearing nothing else, let's go ahead and jump into this document, the Caroline County Plan for Universal Coverage.
So it's always a good practice to review and update these items at least once a year. We're now at the 1-year anniversary of this version of the Plan for Universal Coverage being adopted. So reading through it, there were some areas that needed to be updated because, this time last year we were hoping for our 23 grant. And so for that reason, if we go down through this Plan for Universal Coverage, there's some areas that we did change or update or clarify, make it a little bit clearer. But I think if we look at that, the Plan for Universal Coverage stayed about the same down to where you see Route 95. It says Route 95 basically severs the county into two distinctly different areas. This boundary was used to identify the possible need for two companies. Interstate highways and railroad tracks remain to this day a barrier which can prevent quick expansion to broadband and other technologies. It was decided that work should begin on the railroad crossing permits to allow construction to be completed within the tight timelines imposed by most funding mechanisms. So at that point, when the decision was made to move forward with railroad crossings, we weren't even sure what the funding mechanism would be, but we knew that however we ended up, that we would have a hard time making those timelines. So Caroline County will work with internet service providers that are committed to complete the work within the anticipated time frame required by DHCD under the VATI grant program, since that is the primary funding mechanism recommended by this plan. So we go down to the next paragraph. Additionally, the Caroline Broadband Advisory Committee completed a request for RFP to select a provider of all unserved areas west of 95. This will ensure that there will be no gaps to potentially prevent Caroline from being awarded the VATI grant during the 23 cycle. Caroline has selected Verizon for this project area. Breezeline is selected to be the provider to extend their existing footprint to serve areas unserved east of 95. Together, these two companies will help Caroline attain universal coverage. In May of 2023, Caroline County was notified that it had been awarded the VATI grant by DHCD to serve all identified unserved locations in the county. The county will manage the expansion of both companies and comply with the requirements of the VATI grant, VATI 2023 grant award. Here are the numbers, and they're big ones. The actual project will attain universal coverage for Caroline County, will bring service to over 4,700 locations, an estimated 195 businesses. It will require 500 miles of fiber construction and will cost in excess of $29 million. That's the total cost of the project. So, again, when we did the Plan for Universal Coverage that was submitted with the 2023 grant application last August, that we had not been awarded. I would propose that we add that language that I just read through that kind of brings that Plan for Universal Coverage up to speed. So, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the proposed changes in our Plan for Universal Coverage.
All right. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, do I have a second?
I second.
All right. So we have a proper second on the floor. I'll give one more chance for any more discussion from anybody. All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. So that'll be our new verbiage and adding that in there. I think that definitely speaks to what we've gone out and, what we've partnered with both Verizon and BreezeLine. I especially like that last paragraph where, 500 miles of fiber optic cable being laid in Caroline County for this. It's mind blowing. All right. We don't have any new business on the docket other than the next meeting and the format. So on the agenda, it's September 18th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Is this going to be via Zoom or in person?
Due to the timing of this, I would say we probably should do Zoom.
Okay.
And then maybe if everything continues to go well, October-ish, we may try to do another big in-person meeting again.
Okay. Does it, let me ask this, do we need to change anything about this meeting since we have so many deadlines for the VADI 2023 and, getting approval with the Board of Supervisors? Is the 18th give us enough time?
It does. We'll continue to work through, as Mr. Thomas had mentioned, the board did grant Mr. Cully permission to sign the documents necessary for the grant.
Okay.
So by this 18th, we should have everything approved and signed. And so I don't believe it's going to require any further action by this committee. And so by the 18th should be actually a good date because by then we will have everything submitted. So we can confirm that on the 18th.
Okay.
And that's a perfect date to have because on the 18th, you can prepare for the Board of Supervisors meeting the next week, which is the 26th.
Okay. That works.
And Mr. Thomas, we have a meeting tomorrow night.
Wednesday night.
Oh, Wednesday night. That's right.
See, you made me think about that again.
Wednesday.
This is the one we moved to Wednesday.
Yes, sir. I did have a conversation with Joey from the schools, and they have a school board meeting tonight, so he's unable to attend. I did ask him that if these meetings interfered with or ended up hitting on the same date as the school board meetings, we could either move it a week forward or a week back to make sure that he is able to attend. But he stated that normally this week would have been good. They moved the school board meeting because of the start of school. So that's the reason why he's not here tonight. He is in a school board meeting. So we look forward to having him back in next month.
Nice. Okay. That's good to know. All right. So September 18th, 7 p.m. I think we're good to go with that. Any other discussion around that?
That's it, David. The one thing I would ask is after we modify our strategic statement that we put it on the county website.
Yes, sir, we will. And in fact, the text, I was looking through that plan for universal coverage, and it really is a good story of the journey that we've been through to get to the point we are now.
Yes.
So not only, I think, will it go up as the plan for universal coverage, but at least a good majority of that will serve as good dialogue for the new version 2.0 on the broadband page, which I've been in discussion with our web designer, and hopefully when we roll that out, we can use some of that text from our plan for universal coverage right on that page as well, in addition to actually having the official copy of that plan for universal coverage. So but we do have plans to update that page. It's just right now all the time is trying to get the other paperwork done. So hopefully by September the 18th, we can start working on some, other things that we need to as well.
Okay, well, I'm good.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
All right. So we've already got the date. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
move.
I was like, man, we're going to be here all night. All right. All right.
Okay.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All that want to stay longer, say aye. All right. We will adjourn. Thanks, everybody, for attending, and we look forward to next month.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.